Hello! I promise. I am your teacher. I am. I promise. How you doing, folks? Okay. What we're going to do today, addition of fractions. And addition of fractions we saved second because it's a little bit more complicated than multiplying and dividing. So with addition, who remembers what you need to have? What's that thing you have to have? Right, a common denominator. And ideally, we're going to look for the least common denominator, the smallest number that both of those denominators will divide into nicely. There's many numbers, there's an infinite amount of numbers they will divide into. The smallest one makes our lives a lot easier with math. So 3 and 2, the denominators, the bottom number of a fraction, right? So what's the number that they both divide into nicely? You're probably easily getting that one. Yeah, it's 6. So what do we multiply 3 by to get a 6? Yeah, we multiply it by a 2. So we're going to get that. Now, what do we multiply 2 by to get a 6? Right, a 3. We multiply by 3. And what do we get now? Well, 1 times 2, this is multiplication from the last time, right? 1 times 2 is 2. 3 times 2 is 6. Plus, because that's the operation we're doing, 1 times 3 is 3. Over 2 times 3 is 6. Now remember, order of operations, that's why we did the multiplying first. Now we're going to do the addition. So now the denominators stay the same, right? So what are we going to do here? All we're going to do is we're going to add the numerators right there. So what we end up with is 2 plus 3 is 5, and the denominator remains the same. It's common, right? It's 6. There are 2 parts out of 6 plus 3 parts out of 6. Now we have 5 parts out of 6. Okay? So there's our final answer. So the next problem I want to share with you, let's try it with the vertical method. So let's do 5/6 plus 7/9. Let's figure out what that is. So in this case, our denominator, well, hold on. 6 and 9, what's common there? So one way to find a common denominator is to multiply the two numbers together. Just think about it. If you multiply them together, the number you get is divisible by both of those numbers. So you'll always have a common denominator that way. But to find the least common denominator, what you want to think of is what they both already have in common. And don't think about that anymore. So what is 6 in terms of prime numbers? 6 is the same as 2 times 3. And what's 9? 9 is 3 times 3. So notice they both already have a 3 included. It's the 3 here. This one has 2 3s. This one only has 1 3. So let's multiply in another 3. This thing doesn't have a 2, but it already has the same 3s. Let's multiply it. Notice now they both have all the same numbers. 3, 2, and 3, 2, 3, and 3. It's going to be the same thing. 3 times 2 is 6 times 3 is what? 18, right. So that's what we end up with as our common denominator. So we're going to go ahead and multiply over here by 3, top and bottom, and over here by 2, top and bottom. Like I already wrote, the denominator is now the same, 18. Now our numerators have changed, haven't they? 5 times 3 gives us 15 eighteenths, and 7 times 2 gives us 14 eighteenths. So when we add this up, what we end up with, let me get that color. When we add this up, what we end up with is, well, 14 and 15 is going to be 29 eighteenths. And, well, that's correct, but it's not what we want. It's accurate, but it's not the correct final answer because that's an improper fraction. We want it to become a mixed number. So how many times does 18 go into 29? So I'm going to go ahead and change color over here. We're going to do 29 divided by 18. Well, 18 can go into 29 at least once. Twice, not quite, because that's 36. That's too much. So we're going to divide by 1. 1 times 18, 18. Subtract. 9 minus 8 is 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. And now But you have to remember from that last time, remember the remainder over the divisor. There's your whole number. So we end up with the final answer of 1, the whole number answer, and 11 parts out of 18 parts. Now think about that. 1 times 18 is 18. 18 plus 11 is 29 when we go backwards. Okay? So let's try another example. We got one more example here. In this case, let's take 1 1/3, and let's add that with 2 5/6. Now, I got to say, one reason I like the vertical method, it makes it a little easier for me to work the thing going down instead of across. It gives me more space because I can move over sideways to have the space and then work the problem down from there. So that's kind of why I prefer the vertical method usually for this kind of problem. But if you have enough space and it's a short, small number one, the horizontal method's pretty quick. So anyways, back to this problem. What's our common denominator for 3 and 6? You didn't say 18, did you? You said 6, right? Because 6 can divide into itself one time nicely, and 3 can go into 6. So we only need to change one of these. So let's go ahead and multiply this one by what? Right, 2. Top and bottom by 2. And so now we have 1 2/6 plus 2 5/6. We add that up, and we end up with, let's see, 5, 6, 7 sixths, because the denominator remains the same. And now we add the whole numbers. 1 plus 2 is 3. Now, you notice I haven't finished the problem here. It's not in a red answer. So why is that? Right. This is top-heavy again. We have a mixed number with an improper fraction. No. Can't have that. So let's kind of forget about the 3 for a minute. How many times does 6 go into 7? Right. 6 will go into 7 one time. 1 times 6 is 6. We subtract, get a 1 remainder. So this 7/6 is the same as 1 1/6 plus the 3. So we end up with a final answer of 4 1/6. Now look at that. There's that whole number 3, and then the 7/6 is more than 6. It's more than 1 in groups of 6. There are 7 groups of 6. So you have 6 groups of 6. There's your whole number to add to the 3, and then the leftover 1. So I hope this helps out, folks. The next one's going to be about subtraction, and I need to ask you guys if I can borrow something, if you can loan something to me. Okay, but I'll ask you then. Okay, I will see you then, and until then, have yourselves a good day. Trying to find the stop. Goodbye.